Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Hey, Radio Bypass. Today we are happy to bring you another musician that you need to know. And we're going to get his story on a great band that I can't wait to hear more of, Agents of Your Demise. Please welcome Stephen Chesney to Radio Bypass. How you doing, Stephen?
Good, man. How you doing, Ruff?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for coming by and sharing a little bit of time with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Agents of Your Demise was sent to me, a single that you've released, Nothing's Made to Last. My initial response when I played the song to decide if do I want to add it to my weekly music show was, holy shit, this is really good. So I fell in love with the song right out of the gate.
Thank you.
Read a little bit of the information that was sent along with it. And I'm like, man, sounds like an interesting story. And I refer to the music that we play as rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. And yours certainly does. And where I can, I like to get together with the creators of all this great music and have you share your stories and let people know about you and make sure everybody knows you're out there. Because I always say today, there's a million ways for people to learn about things. And because there's a million ways, sometimes you learn nothing because you don't know where. So I try to bring as much of it together as I can under the Radio Bypass banner. And interested music lovers like myself can get to know about a new band, hopefully. Mm-hmm. So that brings us to you. So I'd love to hear a little bit of your background and tell us the story of Agents of Your Demise.
Well, in terms of how the band or project or whatever you want to call it kind of came together, I'd moved originally from England to the East Coast, and then I moved to LA in 2012. And a couple of years went by, and eventually I started playing at Ultimate Jam Night in Hollywood. And one particular night, I was asked to go down and play, and I played with Billy Sheehan, and we did. Actually, it was, now I think about it, it was me, Billy, and Ray. Actually, we did Yankee Rose, and then I that was kind of a bit of a mind blower for me. That was my first experience playing with those guys. I was like, well, let's see if I can keep up and see how this goes. And a couple of months,
solid rhythm section to play with.
Yeah, not bad. And I was like, okay, let's see if I can not embarrass myself here. So, I'm still the new guy out there. And so a month or two went by, and didn't get to play with them again for a little bit. And then I get a phone call. I can't remember if it was Chuck Wright or Matt Starr. One of those guys called me and was like, hey, I've got Ralph Saines or Michael Starr from Steel Panther coming in, and Billy Sheehan's going to be there. I want you to come in and play Shy Boy. And I'm like, okay. And I might have been running my mouth about, hey, let me play Shy Boy, and not having ever actually played it before at that point. So I had to learn that song the day before I went down to play with him. So I went down, played with Billy again. I mean, this is the long story, but this is how it all came to be. Got through that, went well, thankfully. And then yeah, thank God. And the next week, Billy and Ray were there, and they had me go in and play Hot for Teacher with them. And I remember we were backstage about to walk on, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, how can I try to make my first impression of, or as someone that plays music, or at least jams with them, rather than being, the new guy fanboy kind of thing. So as I'm walking on stage, I'm in front of Billy and Ray, and I'm like, this is my chance. This is either going to go well or this is going to go horribly. So I turned around to them. I don't know if they remember this, but this is a true story. I looked at Billy and Ray. I said, hey guys, I tried to be sheepish about it. I was like, can I ask you a favor? Yeah, man, what's up? I went, don't fuck up. And they looked at me, and they looked at each other, And I'm like, please laugh. And thankfully, they started laughing and was like, fuck, man. And we walked on stage. I was like, thank God that went well. Okay. Got, got through the performance, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. And so after that, I got an email after that night from Ray saying, "Hey man, I want to go back down there. You want to come play?" I was like, "Yes, thank you for actually personally inviting me. Yes, I'd love to." So we were jamming pretty regularly then before they left LA. So that led to like, okay, you know what, we should do a song or two together. And so I started to write songs with Michael from Steel Panther, and was originally trying to do just like some songs with him, and Billy was going to be on one, and I'd written these demos um, as far back as 2015, and then kind of there was, Ralph was touring, and Billy's obviously always busy, and Ray's super busy, so it was like, when can we make it happen? And it kind of fell apart and didn't end up going anywhere, even though I have these demos laying around.
Right.
So fast forward a couple of years of bits of frustration, and I recorded some of the songs separately in different demo form with a different singer and different lineup. And then the pandemic happened, and suddenly everyone had time. It was
Right.
like, you know what? There's not a whole bunch we can do right now. You want to see if we can put something together. So I contacted Billy, and Billy was like, "Yeah, man, I'll play." And I already had these drum tracks done without Ray at that point. So I called Eric Dover, who is one of my best friends and one of my favorite singers ever. Because I bought his Slash a Snake Pit record with Slash the day it came out in '95. Like, I grew up idolizing that guy before he was a friend of mine.
Right.
And so we did the first song together, and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty good. All right, can we do some more?" And so I decided, all right, let's push my luck a little bit and see if I can get Ray to play on, a song finally. And so we did a second song. And I was like, "Oh, that's really good." Okay. So at that point, what originally I had planned to just do as a quick EP, 2, 3 songs while the pandemic, and put out a couple of songs with these guys. I was like, you know what, I'm going to push my luck. Let's do this as a whole record.
Hmm.
And so we went back, we re-recorded the original demo because obviously Ray hadn't played on the original version of that. So actually, it was Nothing's Made to Last. Ended up being re-recorded with Ray on drums. And suddenly, like, shit, I got to write a whole rest of this record as well. So I put the rest of this thing together, and we did it over a period of, probably the track end took about a year and a half. And in the midst of that, like, there was like a bunch of health issues and various things that pushed things over a long period of time. And so it got delayed and went on and on and on. But we got to the point where, things happen for a reason, I guess, because right
Right.
when it came down to the last 2 songs, when Dizzy Reed got involved. And, I grew up and I'm still a massive Guns N' Roses fan. And so that was, cherry on top of the cake for me. Is like, all right, we're going to get Diddy to do like a whole orchestral arrangement and piano and everything. And that
Right.
happened all last year, right when we were finishing up the last parts. So, had it not taken as long as it did, it wouldn't have worked out with the lineup that it did. So I really, now it's easy to not complain about it, even though it was horrifying at the time taking as long as it did. Because I definitely had people like I was telling you before we went on here. I'm sure there's definitely people going, "All right, you've been saying this exists for a long time now. After 4 years, I'm not sure if this is really going to happen." So here we
Right.
are now, 2025, after originally starting at the end of 2020, and we're finally getting to where the stuff's starting to appear.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I thought there was something like that. I knew this had to be a long time in the making. I didn't know exactly how it all went down, but I think it's going to be worth it. But now, when you make that joke about, people wondering, is this really going to happen? I do notice though that in the information I have anyway, it's still a little loosey goosey when it's being released. It says the first quarter of this year, and now it's March, so we're running out of the first quarter pretty soon.
It's become like a fluid thing because I put this first tune out. Plan was song maybe 2 weeks, second single maybe 2 more weeks, put the record out, and it's been getting a really good response, which
Right.
I can't complain about at all. So suddenly I'm like, well, I'm going to do maybe two, maybe three maximum singles,
Mhm.
then do the record. So even then, it's all done and ready to go. But it's more a case of because of getting the name out there, making sure people know about it first, and not putting the record out all at once and then song getting lost, in the midst of multiple coming out. I figured maybe use two, three songs to promote to make sure people are aware of it a little bit more, then do the record. So maybe the end of this month now we'll be pushing it, but it won't be much more if it is, because I have no desire to make this go on for another 6 months, 2 years, or anything else. So it'll be out soon. It'll be out very soon. And at least now there are clips of each song on the website, so you can actually go hear what's on the record. So it's out there.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out myself then because I'm hungry to hear more. Yeah, after
Oh, it's
song.
out. There's nine. There's previews of 9 songs on the record to go check out.
All right, and that's StephenChesney.com, right? We don't have it. Agents of Your
Actually,
Demise.
there is StephenChesney.com and agentsofyourdemise.com.
There is. Okay.
Yeah, and if you go to agentsofyourdemise.com, it's pretty simple right now. It'll just take you right to where there's previews of the record. So that's a good place to go to hear clips of everything that's going to be on the album.
Gotcha. So this has clearly been your baby. Then you put this whole thing together, um, and then came up. So I'm assuming you came up with the name Agents of Your Demise also. And if so, if that's correct, why was that the choice of the name to release this under?
It's actually it's actually a line in one of the songs.
Okay.
There's and funnily enough, it's the only song that I didn't write any of the lyrics for.
Uh,
Because Eric wrote lyrics for the fourth song on the record, which is "Raise Hell or Die," and there's a line in there about being the agent of your demise. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to put this out under my own name. Agents of Your Demise, just it sounds a lot cooler. I don't need to have my name on it. No one, it would be nice if at some point somebody cares that my name's on it, but no one cares my name's on it right now. So it's like, I want something that sounds cool that we can, put out there. And it's like Agents of Your Demise, man, Eric, you mind if I steal that and use that as the band name? So that's what came to be from it. I wasn't sure if it was going to be, me and blah blah blah, but
right.
the good thing is this way. Um, in future, if I want to do more, you know, it not that I don't want it to be the same guys in the lineup, obviously, but still, with it being this name and something else, if I do something and I have, Billy playing bass, but if Ray's not available or whatever, it could still be, Agents of Your Demise. And then if Ray's available on some songs, blah 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 blah. So it just
Right.
opened up possibilities for the future. I felt with it, so that's where that came from.
Gotcha. Well, that was a good thought you had because I like the name, but yeah, then I'm listening to your story. I'm like, well, this really is kind of a Steven record, right? It's not,
Yeah.
you just happen to get some of the best studio guys you could ever.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got a little lucky there. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's interesting. So hearing that, then knowing that now, um, obviously getting all these same players that were part of this together to play live may or may not be ever doable. But when when this record does come out, I mean, do you have a house band? Like, do you have somebody that can go out and play this material?
I've got people that I could call that I know would do it. And a lot of them are known musicians. I don't particularly expect this lineup to ever play live, just because I don't think it's realistic with everyone's schedule and everything. I'd love for it to, but I'd also love to win the lottery tonight, and I'm not hedging my bets on that. So,
Right.
um, so I hope so, because I think the songs would sound really good live.
Mhm.
I think they'd be fun to play live. I think people would like to hear them live, and especially with some of the stuff that you've not heard yet. But then the problem is, I also shot myself in the foot because I have to be able to say, all right, you have to recreate what Ray and Billy did,
Right.
which is
Right.
not the easiest thing for people to do generally. So it's like, I haven't made it easy on myself to find musicians to go do this stuff live. But I
Fair
guess that's a
point.
good problem to have.
That is a good problem to have, I guess. Yeah. But, I always ask that question, because there's so many, I mean, not just this situation, but there's so many things where, a live show of this group of folks just can't ever happen.
Hmm.
And every time I hear certain music, I'm like, man, I can hear it in my head how I think it would sound live.
Yeah.
And so in this scenario, I knew this lineup that played on it can't necessarily do, but that's why I was wondering if you had a stock band or something that, it may not be exactly the same, but at least get it out there live.
I want to. It's a case of I hadn't even got to that point yet, just because, like I said, this took a lot of time to get to this point. So I'm taking a breath, actually enjoying people even hearing the first song right now. So
Right.
the more people hear more of the songs, the more I know I'm going to want to play it live, because I really took a break from being on stage and everything, because this really like my life pretty much revolved around getting this to where I wanted it to be. Because for me, it was the case of I'm working with the guys that I grew up idolizing. I don't want to put out a record that doesn't uh, meet up to the standard of what their catalogs usually are.
Right.
So it took me a lot of experimenting and everything with how I wanted things to sound and everything else to get it to where I felt okay. Whether they would think it's on their catalog level, I'm not going to say, but for me, it's like I can at least listen to them back to back and go, all right, I mean, cool. That sounds good. So,
Right.
I do hope though, like getting back, I do hope we can at least jam on it sometime. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So you were wearing the producer cap too then?
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I musically I wrote all of the songs. Um, Lyrically, I think half the songs I wrote myself, and half were probably co-writes with Eric, except for that one tune that I mentioned that he wrote the lyrics for. But yeah, so it was written and produced by me, and that was one of the weirdest things for me as well, because when we started this, probably the most over the top song is the opening song from the record, and it was like I had to write one song where I said I got to write one like Mr. Big, like Van Halen Hot for Teacher type something, just because I might never get to do this again. So there's this whole like ridiculous tapping intro with me and Billy, and Ray's drum intro is ridiculous on it as well. And Billy's like, well, I want to make sure we're doing this exactly right. So can you send video of what you're playing so I can learn it? And I was just like, oh Jesus! I didn't sign up for giving Billy lessons on anything, so that scared the absolute shit out of me at the time. So, we got to a point where you're going to hear some interesting things on this. I think.
That's awesome. I cannot wait for this. Now, is this the singles available everywhere for everybody?
Mhm.
When you're ready for releasing the entire project, entire album, whatever we want to call it, is there going to be physical form? Is it going to be just a digital release?
Oh, there's gonna be CDs as well. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Is there a pre-sale where people can order it in advance yet, or?
there's not yet, but there will be. I just like I said, once I got this first one released and started to see some response and stuff, it's not that I definitely didn't put it on the back burner, but it became okay. Let's get the name out there, and then I'll focus more on getting everything ready because I need to make sure everything's approved and artwork and blah blah blah, blah and pressed and yada yada yada. But yeah, there's no way I can do a record of these guys and not put an actual CD out because I want a copy of it just for myself, just to have it.
Sure.
So yeah, so yeah, there's going to be physical copies as well,
That's
and
great.
it is just long enough, just short enough as well to fit on vinyl. So there is that possibility.
Good. I hear that
Yeah,
getting orders of vinyls gotten a little bit easier. There's not quite the backlog there was, I'm hearing. So
yeah. I'm
hopefully that's true.
that's all I'm about to find out.
Right. So and then on social media to follow can follow under your name. Is there a
Yep.
social media set up under the Agents of Your Demise name as well?
Actually, there's not yet. Well, there is, but I'm not using it yet. It's pretty much all going through my own my own socials at the moment. So it's like Stephen Chesney on Facebook or Stephen Chesney Music on Instagram. But then there is the Agents of Your Demise website. So at the moment, I'm not doing a separate social for it just because it's it is kind of my baby. But
Right.
I probably will at some point because the funny thing is if you do go on if you go on iTunes or Spotify or anything else. It's not the Agents of Your Demise. It's not under my name. So I probably should.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking these questions.
Yeah.
People know where to find you and where to find this, especially when the
Yes.
whole thing's out there and available for folks.
Yep.
But I know a lot of people that listen to this show are like me, and when they get excited about a piece of music, they want to be able to go get it and know where to go. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking these questions because it's Stephen Chesney, and basically this is your record, but then it's Agents of Your Demise. So I just want to make sure we all know where to go and keep an eye on this for when it does come out. And I'm sure you'll let me know when the official release happens, but
Oh, yes.
and I will share that information. But until then, because like I said, based on this one track and everybody, Stephen told me, and I haven't had a chance myself yet, but you can go to stephenchesney.com and I guess agencyyourdemise.com too.
Yes, sir.
You can hear little samples of all the tunes, which I know when he and I are done talking today, I'm going to do that. So you could do it as well. And at the end of this, when we're done talking, we are going to play Nothing's Made to Last as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear, the whole thing. And yes, I also am a physical guy. So I'll be looking to get a CD, even though my current car does not have a CD player, which really irritates me. I still end up getting the CDs too anyway. And then I just put them in my computer so I can put them on my phone so I can listen to them in my car. But I still I just got this CD just yesterday,
Nice.
and I already have the digital stuff, but I'm like, I gotta have the physical too. I like the
Yeah.
booklet. I just like. I'm old though. I'm used to reading liner notes and lyric sheets and all that.
There's this magic in that stuff. It's part of the process of when you're listening to the record. You get this, it's part of what was created in the first place. I did an EP like 10 years ago with Warrant singer Robert Mason, and we that was purely digital, and it's cool, but it's nothing feels completely real and like a proper product unless you got a copy of an actual record in front of you. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I got to do this.
Yep, I hear you. All right. Well, before we get into Nothing's Made to Last, what else should people know? What else should we know about you, about the project? What have we not talked about that we should?
Well, I mean, there was like I said, I did an EP with Robert Mason. If you're a fan of his voice, he's a great singer.
Great
We
singer,
did,
for sure.
yeah, we did that 10 years ago because I was a big fan of one of his previous bands, Cry of Love, that were a great blues rock band.
Where can
Um,
people find this under what name? Under Robert's name?
Actually, that record is under Stephen Chesney featuring Robert Mason.
Okay.
And so that was in 2014 we did that. And outside of that, you will usually hear my music in TV shows and not know that it's me because I write music for the background of TV shows for the bed of the scenes and stuff. But outside of that, this is the only thing at this point that needs to be known because this is the ending of or the beginning or whatever of everything I've worked for was to get to where I put together, even if it's an all-star band minus the guitar player, but it's my dream band. So this is the only thing at this point that I'm concerned about.
But if all these people that are involved in this were willing to do this with you, even if, and I'm saying this for all of us, even if we don't know his playing, it's got to be pretty damn good because otherwise
Well,
these folks wouldn't be interested in doing it with you.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, you'll be able to make that decision pretty soon. I think the one particular song with Dizzy on it is not so much about the playing as much as it's my favorite piece of writing and production. It's nearly 7 minutes long. It's like my Estranged from Use Your Illusion 2. And I'd had that written. And actually what was funny to go off on a veer off, and I probably shouldn't even mention it because it's such a silly thing that happened. But a couple of years ago, I put out some demos. I only put them out after somebody else had posted them online. I didn't intend to. That people thought were actually Guns N' Roses. It went viral. It was very weird. I had to put out this little press release online saying no, because I didn't want Axl to come after me if he ever heard about it. Like it went all over the place that Guns N' Roses had got back together and there were these new leaked Guns N' Roses demos. And I was like, well, it's me. So one of those songs now actually has Dizzy on it. And that's the one. I think that's what I'm most excited for people to hear, funnily enough, more than anything else, whether it be my any music I've done in the past or whatever else. This one song, Moving On, when everybody hears it, I think is if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, I think that's the one that's probably going to blow people's minds. So
Moving On is the name of the track.
Yeah, and that's going to be the one. I'm really curious, but it's the slower one. But I'm really curious for everybody to see what everybody thinks of that one.
Awesome. All right. I'll pay extra special attention to that one.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, man, it's great getting to meet you and talk with you about
Likewise, man.
I'm excited to hear the whole thing, like I said, and obviously I'll play more tracks on this show, on the music show when it's out there. Can't wait to hear more from you. And hopefully, maybe we'll see you do these songs live somehow, even if it's
somehow, some way, it'll happen. I don't know who, with, or when, but it'll happen. Yeah.
Good deal. And there is you do not have any live dates of any type of material going on, right? Nothing.
Not right now. Nope. I put everything into getting this finished. Yeah, that's why I didn't intend to be, but it's what I turned into as a result of this. So yeah, now I'm getting myself back to getting ready to play live again. So yeah, it's coming.
Got it. All right, everybody. Well, we've been talking with Stephen Chesney. Agents of Your Demise is the record, the band, the project, whatever we want to call it. All-star cast playing on it. What I heard so far is killer. So check out Stephen's website or agentsofyourdemise.com. Wherever you go, follow him on social media. Look for this record to come out soon, within maybe the next few weeks. And stick around right now to check out Nothing's Made to Last. Thanks for coming by, Stephen.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Done, it's over and I never really lived. I rarely ever gave a fuck about anything you ever said or did. Truth hurts baby, my stocking you was gone. What you believe and what you see are separate things held differently. No, I won't own it, the shit you said was wrong. I walked away from all the blame, cause I can't take the pain. I've got my head in a bag and I'm going away, just to twist it above the shoulders and my troubles all over. Got my head in a bag, I guess you drove me insane. It's crazy and I know it, but I like the way it's going. Yeah, alright. I've paid attention lately, the way you run your mouth. Yes, retrospect may be regret, but I've run short on tolerance. No, I won't own it when ignited you explode. Won't ask to bleed, that's too extreme, but I can't take more misery. When you're sensitive to indignation, you're a broken-hearted acquisition. I've got my head in a bag and I'm going away. It's a twist above the shoulders and my obstacles are over. My head's in a bag, guess you drove me insane. It's crazy that you judge me when it escalates above me, but I like my newfound freedom and I'm doing what I know I've got to do. So much weight upon my shoulders. One disturbing scene and it's all over. I've got my head in a bag and I'm going away, with a twist above the shoulders and my obstacles are over. I've got my head in a bag, guess you drove me insane. It's crazy and I know it, but I like the way it's going. Got my head in a bag and I'm going away. It's a twist above the shoulders and my troubles are all over. Nothing's way too last, guess you drove me insane. It's crazy and I know it, but I like the way it's going. Yeah, alright. I walked away from all the blame, cause I can't take the pain. I've got my head in a bag and I'm going away, just to twist it above the shoulders and my troubles all over. Got my head in a bag, I guess you drove me insane. It's crazy and I know it, but I like the way it's going. Yeah, alright. I've paid attention lately,